Thank you guys for joining us today. We're really excited to be covering a super important topic, one that takes a lot of consideration and a lot of self-reflection, and that is getting your very first credit card. One of the first things when we talk about getting credit cards, we're talking about looking for a way to build credit.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
So you need credit in your life if you're looking to make larger purchases in the future that you might need a loan. And when a lender tries to qualify you for a loan, they're going to see your credit history and they like to see something on there. So if you're just getting started, you're in college for the first time and you're making decisions on your own, you actually might not have credit. But in some ways, your credit report does look to see if you have any existing credit, meaning you've been able to maintain an account open, have it be a credit card, some sort of loan, and if you've been able to, repay based on the terms and conditions of that. When you get a credit card, you really want to make sure you're responsible with it. And there's a few different types of credit cards you can look into as your first one. So there's an option, if you're really close to mom and dad want to help you build your own credit, there is a way that they could allow you to be what's known as an authorized user on their credit card, which essentially means you'll get a credit card with your name on it, but the ultimate responsibility for repaying that will be your parents or whoever the owner of the account is. Obviously, parents have to have trust when they do this and make sure, that you guys aren't going too crazy and making purchases that are unaffordable to them.
And they also have to know you, probably. It'd be a good step.
Yeah, you probably don't want to allow someone to be an authorized user on a credit card. Disclaimer out there, if you don't know them. Being an authorized user is a way to get a credit card that you don't necessarily have to qualify for on your own. There are other types of credit cards that might be a little bit easier for you to get, especially if you have no credit history. Those cards are known as secured credit cards. Do you know how a secured credit card works, John?
Yes.
Would you like to explain to our audience how a secured credit card works?
A secured credit card is a credit card that you keep locked up somewhere, very secure. That's why if you've not had credit before, you may get a card from a company if you send them a picture of a vault or someplace really secure, like a panic room, someplace where you can keep that card where no one else can get it, and then it becomes secure.
So that's definitely a way to describe the word secure.
Thank you.
But that's not what a secured credit card is. A secured credit card will require you to put down some sort of deposit, and then you can use that card. And that deposit helps you out if you are having trouble making your monthly payments. So there is one more type of credit card I wanted to cover today.
Platinum.
So not platinum necessarily, but I wanted to go over what's known as a rewards credit card.
Okay, no, reward credit cards reward you.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So a rewards credit card, the way they're set up is essentially every time you make a purchase, you can earn points or a dollar value towards a specific program they're targeting. So you could have something like airline miles, maybe some reward certificates for a specific type of retailer or some type of store. And there's two types of reward cards. There are some cards that you can use the card anywhere, meaning you can use it when you go grocery shopping, you can use it when you go to get gas, that sort of thing, obviously responsibly, and earn points towards that retailer or whatever program you're looking to get a reward from. There's another type of card that you can only use at that specific retailer.
Oh, like a JCPenney's credit card.
Yeah, something like an Amazon credit card will allow you to use that card only when you're shopping with Amazon. And then, of course, there's some more traditional type of credit cards. So those types of credit cards, you do have to qualify for. There are some lenders and banks that will actually make these types of traditional credit cards available for college students specifically. So some basic general eligibility about this. You have to be at least 18 years old to legally get your own credit card. And you want to make sure you don't have any other existing negative credit history, saying maybe you had a student loan that went into repayment, you ran into some trouble, that could count against you. So you probably want to clean up any of those issues for you to qualify. But if you're just getting started, chances are your main problem is going to be that you have actually no credit history.
I understand what that means. It means you don't have any credit history.
That's exactly what that means.
Thank you.
Credit cards. Essentially, let's go over a little bit about how they work.
Yes.
You make a purchase on the credit card, and then you'll get a statement every month asking you to pay either a minimum amount, and it'll let you know what your total outstanding balance is on that card.
You talked about having a good history of repaying your credit card. And I heard that sometimes that repaying a credit card is optional and it's not really a big deal.
No, so I'm going to have to stop you there. Repaying your credit card, anytime you make a purchase with a credit card, it's not an optional thing to repay it. And if you don't repay the full amount you used that month within your grace period, you're going to be charged daily interest on that. And interest is essentially the cost of borrowing money. And it doesn't matter, it's the same thing with your student loans. If you're not making payments right now, interest is accruing most likely on some loan types. The goal here is to repay everything you spent in that last statement to make sure you're not carrying a balance.
Alternatively, one thing I have found that works kinda is to make sure you always spend all the credit you're given. And
Okay, John, I'm gonna have to cut you off right there. Even though you have the option to use it, it's always wise to be smart when you use it and make responsible purchases that you can afford
But
to
earlier,
repay.
if I recall correctly, we can check the tapes. I believe you said we don't ever have to pay back the credit cards.
I never said that, John. You said that, and we went over that you do have to repay your credit card. And if you don't repay it every month in full, you actually could be charged a rather high interest rate. One thing you want to keep in mind is this whole idea of credit utilization. Essentially, what it looks at is how much your total credit limit is and how much of that you're using. So if your credit limit's about $5,000 and you're using $4,999, you're using almost 100% of your credit limit.
What if your credit limit was $100 and you were using $100 of it?
That's exactly 100% credit utilization.
And is that good?
That is not good.
Because if you take a test and you get 100% on it, it's usually pretty good.
So that's not when 100% is a good thing. One of those times. It happens.
Yeah.
It does happen sometimes. You want to keep your eye on your credit utilization. Lenders and banks actually can look at credit utilization based on a per credit card basis or for your entire credit limit that they've basically determined you will be able to repay.
So they want to know about what percent you're using of the credit you have available.
Yes.
And that's how they determine if you're responsible?
Basically, yes. And you want to keep that to under 30%.
I'm learning stuff.
Obviously, it's better to keep that number as low as possible, especially, if you're going out there using your credit card, you don't want to go too crazy.
Yeah, that makes sense. Question for you.
Okay.
I read about something once. On a credit card form, it said annual fees. Does that mean that you have to pay fees annually to a credit card?
Actually, that's exactly what that means.
Thank you.
So when you look at your different credit card options, especially if you're going it solo, you want to see the different terms and conditions associated with that. And if there's something like an annual fee, some of them can be really high. So that's essentially a fee that does not go towards your balance or anything. It's just a fee for you to own that card. And they can charge that to you annually, so every year. So with that being said, you really need to be smart and educated when you make this decision. Only get a credit card if you feel like you can handle that responsibility and you won't get yourself into trouble.
Let me see if I understand this. Credit cards. They can be important for when you're growing up and you're becoming an adult and you want to be prepared for the future And having a good credit rating is good stuff for life, correct?
Actually, that's not so bad.
All right, I'm on a roll. Second point, credit cards will allow you the opportunity to purchase things, and then if you don't pay it back within that month or whatever time period you have, you get charged a certain percentage rate, and that's interest, and that makes your balance go up more?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And, I'm not done.
Let me just clarify one quick thing there.
Oh, clarify, I nailed it.
When you make that purchase, a lot of credit cards will give you a grace period, and that's usually right around the time you get your next statement.
Nice.
So that's what we're talking about, that you have a little bit of time to get that money together.
So you don't have to
make that
pay
payment.
back that day, usually.
Usually you don't, and sometimes
Nice.
it might take a little bit for that charge to even show up. So remember, be smart with your credit card. I'm not sure if John can handle much more of this. It seems like we need to have another discussion.
I think I need more coffee.
Thank you guys for joining us today. And if you've got any questions or any ideas of videos that you want to see us cover, make sure to comment below and subscribe.